afternoon. First of all, we will introduce ourselves briefly. Hi, my name is Jonita Belkmans and I'm standing here with Larissa Manos. We're both doing the Hotel Management School in Maastricht. And today the topic will be the balance between corpulence and malnourishment. We both hate the way things are going with regards to this subject. So that is why we will go into this in more detail and outline our own situation. A little bit later in our story. So imagine, you are sitting on the couch watching a documentary about obesity. And in the entire show, people do everything they can to reach a healthy weight. So you laugh, comment, and watch it with pleasure. But this, while the people on TV are doing everything they can to turn their entire life around. And this is what changed my whole way of thinking.
Okay, well, I recently watched a program about third world countries, how little by little children's bodies began to function less and less, and how both their mental and physical states continue to deteriorate. Malnutrition is a condition that results from eating a diet which does not have enough nutrients. And based on Eureka's story, you would think that the problem these people face are much worse than those of obesity, for example. However, it turns out that both have a huge impact on people, and both can lead to serious illness and even death. Everyone at school has had biology lessons at some point, and most of us know that healthy food is important for the physical and mental growth of the body. Well, nutritions make you big and strong, and assure you that your immune system fights disease. In the Netherlands, there are a number of figures that worry us. For example, 13.9% of the Dutch population is overweight, 25% is malnourished, and 19% of this goes to the food bank. We then looked at our personal circle, in which people close to us fall within one of these two extreme groups. Why are these extremes bad for you? And how can you help people who have it worse than the ones in the Netherlands? We will indicate why these extremes are dangerous. We will look at the physical and mental degradation. How can they be helped, and how you could help with this major problem concerning the third SDG called Good Health and Well-Being. Today, we will both talk about this under and overnutrition. Jorita will describe the sides of overweight, where I will focus on malnutrition.
So, first of all, I will point out some facts about obesity and I will start with the physical issues. Obesity is a serious form of overweight. Too much fat is stored in the body, and the consequences of this are immense. Eventually, such imbalance leads to an accumulation of fat. For example, obesity gives a greater chance of diabetes, raised cholesterol levels, and increased blood pressure. These factors increase the risk of heart and vascular disease, such as a heart attack or stroke. There's also an increased risk of developing some forms of cancer. The extra pressure on the body from being overweight causes joint problems and also sleep apnea, resulting in severe fatigue. Furthermore, like being underweight, severe obesity can cause menstrual problems, decreased fertility, and incontinence problems in addition. There are lots of conditions that can be caused by obesity, such as depression and anxiety disorders. The term overweight and obese are often used with the same meaning, but there's a difference. When people talk about being overweight, they are talking about too much excess fat stored in your body. Obesity is about being severely overweight. People who are dealing with being overweight or obese have a greater chance of health risks than if they were at a normal weight. So the greater the excess weight is, the more health problems can occur. Now, if you look at my grandmother, you can see immediately that she's obese. So this has been established by the hospital. And unfortunately, you can see that she can hardly carry her own weight. She has trouble moving around a lot and gets out of breath quickly. You can also notice that my grandmother is more often depressed when she walks. This is because she always liked it very much, but now it's very hard to do. So, then again, if you immediately look at my opinion on obesity, you probably don't think it's crazy when I say it's best not to take it that far. I notice from my own experience that you feel better when you have a healthier weight and that you can do the things you like to do.
Well, now that you've heard about obesity, I'll go into the next extreme, which is malnutrition, like you can see on these pictures. Being underweight also carries a lot of health risks because you miss certain nutrients, such as protein, minerals, essential fats, vitamins, etc. First of all, I'll talk about the physical problems that occur. The immune system deteriorates and a person can start to feel tired. The body uses their extra supplies from fat and muscle tissue. As a result, fat and muscle tissue is broken down. The breakdown of muscle tissue is especially harmful. If the underweight persists for a long time, the risk of bone fractures also occur, and that's of course a huge problem. With regard to the mental state, this is also an influence. The brain will function less as it does not get the necessary nutrients. In addition, you will be tired and lifeless, which means that you cannot think properly. At the moment, we look at underweight and it's more like the problems that occur in third world countries, right? My example, however, I draw from a person close to me who has anorexia. This is not exactly the same thing, but it indicates how I see that poor nutrition to no nutrition at all has a huge influence on your body and mind. Well, she has daily migraines, for example, and does not leave her apartment for days. When we sit together on the terrace for lunch, she orders no more than a simple cup of ginger tea. I see that the lack of nutrients not only limits her physically, but also mentally. She's always tired and gets sick very fast, which is bad for her. This is a person in a developed country with the right facilities to change her life. However, I can hardly imagine what it's like for those in the poorer countries, like the third world countries, who cannot do this. How their stomachs get fat from eating food, while their condition deteriorates. Because it's all about those bad nutrients. I think underweight is a problem that should not exist in the world. Of course, we can't magically make it disappear, but we can at least make an effort to contain it as much as possible. We want you to become aware of this huge problem. For if you cannot see it, then hope for a fair future is probably lost.
How can we ensure that a better future is not